And we are here with Bruce Turkel talking about branding yourself, branding your business, branding the city, branding the ball clubs, all the good things about in Miami. We have some iconic brands. We have the Dolphins, we have the Marlins, we have let's see, some banks, I guess, that are some brands. We've got, I can't think of them, so they haven't got that strong a brand, I guess.
Well, the biggest one in Miami is actually those 5 letters, Miami. Miami is right now the hottest tourism brand in the world. In fact, think about it. I was born here. I've lived here my whole life. A lot of y'all out there have been here a long time too. 20 years ago when you traveled, if people said, "Where are you from?" and you'd say Miami, they'd go, "Oh."
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
Right.
Now, people say, "Where are you from?" I say Miami, they go, "Oh." It's the same word. It's the same 2 letters, OH. But the way they say it has changed completely because we've changed the brand.
Now, how does somebody go about changing the brand? I guess a perfect example, and right there in front of everybody, you talked about it on Fox yesterday, is Lance Armstrong. That guy's got a little work to do.
Well, Lance Armstrong has a lot of work to do. He's really screwed the pooch with not only with what he did and getting caught, but lying about it. See, what he did was he violated our trust in him. We believed in him. We thought he was a hero. He violated our trust. We feel bad about him, but worse, we feel bad about ourselves because we feel like we were used. I said earlier, a brand is how you make other people feel. So Lance Armstrong made us feel like chumps. He's going to have to work real hard and apologize sincerely and honestly in order to get people to care about him again.
Well, locally, somebody's done that just recently with the ballpark here. What advice would you give to our local brand, the Marlins, about repositioning themselves after what they've done with the team?
Well, I think it's actually pretty easy. Luckily, people have short memories, and I am always amazed by Americans and Miamians' willingness to forgive and forget. But you got to do a couple things. First of all, you have to come clean with what you did.
Mea culpa?
Absolutely. You got to say it because everyone knows it. It's the elephant in the room, isn't it? And if you don't deal with it, it's still out there hanging. Then you have to define yourself. The oldest rule in politics, in business, and in branding is define yourself before other people do. Because everyone's out there talking about you, so if you don't tell people who you are, they're going to make it up for themselves. Then you have to act. You got to show that you have fixed the problem, whatever the problem was. In their case, obviously the problem was they had this team and now we don't have this team anymore. Well, you got to show us that you understand you made a mistake or you did something and now you're going to do something different and we're going to benefit. Then you have to apologize, and it's got to be a real apology, and it's easy to tell. If someone apologizes to you and right after the apology, after the "I'm sorry" part, they either say "if" or "but," it's not an apology. "I'm sorry, Jim, if you thought I was being rude" is not an apology, because that means, hey, I'm sorry you thought I was rude.
But I really wasn't.
Exactly. And "I'm sorry, Jim, but I had to tell you the way I felt" is not an apology.
No, it's, hey, it's in your face. What I said's the truth. You got a problem, you know?
Exactly. But people don't really know that. So you have to make that apology. And the way you do it has to be emotional. We're also busy in business being intellectual. Here's how many stores we have. Here's how many discounts we offer. Here's how many computers we have. And people don't care. They have to hear it emotionally. What's more emotional than a ball club? The name of the city is on the jersey. The name of the city is on the arena. We take our family there. We want to root for these folks.
Represents who we are. When we talk to other people, the first thing they say is, "Hey, what happened to whatever? I'm not on the team. I don't know."
Exactly, and it's our hopes and dreams. All the little kids who want to grow up to be players, all the adults who wish they were players. It's such an easy thing to be emotional. It's so easy to get the team out in the community, meeting people, doing the eye-to-eye. When I was a kid, we used to go to the Velda Farms football end zone club, believe it or not, and we'd go to events where I'd get to meet Paul Warfield. I mean, these are names from the past, right? And Bob Greasy and Zonka and Kick. Who could love the team more than me?
Hold
I
on.
met those guys.
You met the Zonk and the...
I did, baby.
Fist bump to you. Oh, that's my man.
So who could love the team more than a 12-year-old who got to shake Paul Warfield's hand, right? I was madly in love with them. The fact that it was 0-10, I mean, that they had an undefeated season didn't hurt either. But then when I was at UF, my senior year as a Gator, we didn't win a game. We were 0-10-1.
Oh yeah, and our one All-American went out with a concussion on the first play of the year.
You remember that?
Oh God, I was sitting there. I grant you that I was about 3 Bacardis in, but I was still there.
But our cheer, you remember the cheer was "Go for O."
Yes, go for O. But with our quarterback Larry O.
That's right. But the stadium, the Swamp, holds 70,000 people. We didn't win a game. How many people were at every game?
FULL.
There were 80,000 people at every game. Why? Because we loved the team. We loved the school. The brand spoke about us. The fact that they weren't winning, yeah, okay, it would have been nicer if they won.
Yeah, but remember, that was when UF was the #1 party school. We were in the stands making sure we lived up to that brand.
If you remember, we weren't even listed one year. They said, we don't rate amateurs with professionals.
No, another fist bump to you. Now, Juan, how are we doing? Do we have to take a break, or are we still going there? Break. We're going to be right back after this short message with more Bruce Turkel. Stick with us. I know you're not going. Let me ask you this. Branding and social media. How do the two of those things go together?
Well, that's a great question because, people come to us all the time and they say, hey, we need social media, or we need a brochure, or we need a TV ad. And we always say, you know what you need? You need a strategy. Because the first thing you got to figure out is what is it that you want to say and how do you want to get people to respond. But once you know that, then social media, it's just fantastic. First of all, it doesn't cost you anything, and if you do it properly, you can get your message out to people on a regular basis when they want to hear it. I mean, I'm sitting here with my iPhone, you've got your iPad, while people are calling in, while we're talking to each other, we're sending messages out, people are retweeting what we're saying, so it gives you such multiplied salesmanship at no cost.
Yeah, sending messages, key word there, sending messages, because everything that we're putting out there in the micro bits or on Facebook is all a message we're trying to give, and that message continues to build and support our brand.
Exactly. As long as we do one thing, we remember the key rule, which is that the messaging has to be all about them. It's too easy to say stuff about myself. Hey, look at me, I'm on the radio. Or I guess, look, hear me, I'm on the radio. But what's more important is letting people know they should tune in for a reason. You're saying tune in to learn this. You see, we got to be enjoyable, but we also need to be useful and valuable.
Well, that's why I do not Freed on Real Estate, but Freed on Business. And I try to bring in business things, and I try to bring in healthcare things, and I try to bring in wellness, things that people that are our listeners would be interested in, not just a one-dimensional thing, but a broad variety.
Because the stuff you've learned from your real estate business is universally applicable to make people's lives better. And you don't want someone to think, oh, it's a real estate guy, I don't do real estate, I'm not interested. No, what they should say is, he's a successful business person, what can I learn? And not just in business, but there's the whole work-life balance. What can I learn from my life? What can I learn from my business? What can I learn from my career? It's all wrapped up right there.
Oh, and that's what we try to do. We try to provide a service to the community, and with that I'm using, let's face it, I use the radio show to help me build my brand too.
And you're doing it right. You're out here, people are hearing you, they're saying, you know what, stuff that guy told me, the stuff that guy taught me has made my life better. When they have a real estate opportunity, of course they're going to come to you. But here's the thing that most people don't think about. They advertise their real estate business, for example, except I'm hearing those ads and I'm seeing those ads when I have no need for them. And how hard is it for you to find me the moment I need real estate services? But if you're telling me all the time, hey, Bruce, here's some stuff when I listen to your show, here's some stuff to learn that can make your business better, I'm constantly reinforcing Jim Freed makes my life better. So now when I need some real estate help, who am I going to call?
Well, thank you, and I appreciate that. And the other thing is that I use the radio show if people are on the blast list, and if you do want to get on the blast list, just email me to jim@freedonbusiness.com, and we'll get you on that list. But I send that out, and when I go to different events, people come up to me and they say, Jim, I love the radio show. A lot of them apologize that they haven't listened recently, but they say that the emails come fast and furious, but they thank me. And a person I talked to yesterday in business I hadn't talked to in 18 months, he said, Jim, I heard from you yesterday. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, I got your email.
Yeah, and I do that with my blog. My blog comes out once a week. It's on things people can do for their business. I don't sell anything. I'm just trying to be educational. I'm trying to be inspirational, and I'm trying to also be enjoyable. But then, what do they say? I hear you all the time. I see you all the time. I know about what you're doing all the time, because they receive this once a week.
Oh, and I must tell you also is that when I consider things that impact my brand, and it's one of the things we're doing in business today is helping a couple of our clients move their brand as they change different focuses in real estate, I always hear you in the back of my mind with your short, very concise tips that you have on branding, and it's just awesome. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. If anybody wants to hear it, it's simply my name, wants to read it rather, it's my name, bruceturkel.com, and there is all the blog posts are right there, and you can get all that information. And it's free.
Yeah, but you think that's easy. I misspelled your name, and I heard a couple of other people did that over the weekend. So why don't you spell, why are you giving them how they spell Turkel?
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask me to spell Bruce.
Yeah, no, Bruce, I think I got it. It's B-R-U-S-E, right?
B-R-U-C-E-T-U-R K-E-L.
Well, that's a heck of a brand. That's branding, and that's my branding guru, Bruce Turkel. Now, Bruce, what do you see as the number one takeaway that somebody needs to have as far as managing their brand? Now, I didn't say creating it. I said managing it. Your brand is out there. You've got a name in the community, let's call it. People recognize your brand. It evokes feelings. How do you start managing that?
Consistent messaging that specifically relates to your customer. Stop talking about yourself. If you look at most marketing, whether it's branding, advertising, PR, irrelevant, if you look at most of it, it's like being on a bad date where the other person is talking about themselves the entire night.
And they're telling you what they think you want to hear, I guess.
They're telling you whatever it is they need to say. They can talk about their hair all night, and then at some point they say, okay, let me hear from you. What do you think about my hair? And the truth is, you don't care. If you're going to manage your brand, you're going to be talking about your customer. And it's going to be consistent. And by the way, I could be a real bugaboo about this. I could say the same thing over and over because people don't get it. And it's so easy. And if you look at the best brands don't talk about themselves. They talk about the customers. They build an aspirational relationship where the customer says, I want to show the world who I am by the car I drive, by the watch I wear.
Just do it.
Just do it. Right. It didn't say just do it because we're cheaper. Just do it because we had more locations. Why did they say that? Because when Nike did research, people said, yeah, I know I'm supposed to work out, but I'm too busy. I have to be at this radio show, and then I got to meet a friend and my kids and blah, 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 blah. And what did Nike say? Just do it. Now, by the way, you'll be interested to know, 80% of Nike sold never see athletic activity. Apparently what we're just doing is we're just laying on the couch and hitting the remote control. But that's okay with Nike because if you're wearing Nikes,
you're doing it.
It means you bought Nike. Just do it. It's a brilliant example of that.
Now, how about this? There's been some of the fast fooders have been trying to reposition themselves, and I guess one of the more active ones, I don't know how successful yet because I guess the sales figures haven't come out yet, is Burger King. I know they've been hitting me with all these coupons and giveaways from when I was at the Dolphin game or in the mail or in my mailbox. How do you perceive what Burger King is doing?
Well, the important thing to remember I said it's all about them. So you say, okay, so what are they doing for me? But you also have to know who the company's audience is. A company's audience is who the All About Them has to be. So Burger King's audience, specifically and entirely, is young men 18 to 30. They eat 80% of the Burger King's products. So what do they want? They want as much food as possible for as little price as possible. What Burger King's doing is brilliant. Now, you might say to me, it hasn't worked on me because I don't eat those things, but they don't care. You're not their market.
No, it did work with me because I gotta just say, about 20 of these things when I was leaving Dolphin Stadium or Pro Sun Life Stadium, and I took them with me to the office, and I gave them to the guys that washed the cars. They couldn't get enough of them.
And now they love you.
They do.
Perfect example. It was all about them, wasn't it? Did they do a better job on your car?
Yeah, they did.
Because it's like a bank out there now. I saw a bird made a deposit on it. So.
Yeah, I know. They come on Mondays and Fridays. So on tomorrow they'll be cleaning off that bird poo, as it were, out there. But my wife says that the bird poo is indicative of good luck. So we're going to do some good things here, and we're doing some good things out there for our clients. Now, we talked about how people get a hold of your blog. How do they get a hold of you?
It's very easy. My email address, just send me an email, is the best way, and it's bturkel, Turkel, Jim, bturkel at turkelbrands.com. And the blog is just bruceturkel.com.
All right. Well, we're going to go to break in just a couple of minutes. We've got one more idea that I wanted to ask you about, Bruce. Now, who do you think, we talked about Miami is the biggest brand here in town. Who do you think manages their brand the best in town?
Who manages Miami's brand the best in town? I do.
Softball.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that one.
Is there a brand that's very well managed other than the brand of Miami that you can take a look at and say, that's a good brand, you should take a look at that?
Wow. I wish you had given me that assignment when I was home so I could have done some research. There's a bunch of them.
Well, then you know what? We're going to hold that thought, and we're going to ask you to come back in a few weeks and talk about what the best brands are and what they mean to their customers, because I guess that's what's most important.
That's what it's all about, and I appreciate that. You just did something for your customers, and thank you very much.
Bruce, you're absolutely the best. We're going to be right back after this short break, but I want to again thank my good friend Bruce Turkel, and please be with us in a few weeks. I'll let you know when we're going to have Bruce back because he does travel the nation doing speaking engagements and TV. We'll be right back after this short break. Jim Fried will be coming at you.